Entering the Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2020 Olympics preview and bets. You get ready, strap yourself in for this one, because I really don't care or know anything about the Olympics, but I do want to make some money and bet on it, so I had to bring in experts, one a legitimate one a not-so-legitimate one, who you're probably familiar with. Remember out there, though, smash the like button to the video in the comment section, please. Give me your favorite sport at the Olympics. I want to know what people actually watch at the Olympics or care about at the Olympics. Subscribe to Mayo Media Network while you're here too. Oh, and while I got you, I have free money to give away. So if you like cash and want to win some of that cash, you hit the description. There's a brand new show on Mayo Media Network, Fantasy Football Picks and Bets. You subscribe, and then leave a 5-star review on Fantasy Football Picks or Bets on Apple Podcasts. That link is in the description. And then leave a Twitter handle or your email address after a nice review, so I know it's you. And then, you could be in the pot right now is $500, but the more reviews we get, that could go up to $1,000, $1,500, and you can get your share of that just by spending 31 seconds and leaving an Apple Podcast review on that show. So please do that for us. Joining me, it's been a while, one of my favorite people of all time. Gabe, you got brought up last week. I had Bronstetter on. He was all about talking about you.
Orville, kicking it old school. Aaron Bronstetter, Mr. UFC. Great to be with you, Pat. Great to be with you talking some Olympics. I'll tell you what, speaker, I'll take some of that free cash and give it away.
Well, hey, hold on. You have to know how to leave an Apple review. Do you know how to leave an Apple review?
I can figure it out for money.
Yeah, well, there we go. Hit the description. We'll be good to go. Sports Rage on Twitter, Sports Grid, and Sirius XM 204. You're everywhere now. All you had to do was get away from me, and your career exploded again.
Yeah, it's the Morency media takeover. No, congratulations on Mayo Media. You're kicking ass right now. I'm really happy to be here. Used to really enjoy doing the show with you in the old days. Me and Pat used to have some really fun times. Great pick, give you winners, great debates, arguments, and it was real passionate. You're great at what you do, so it's great to catch up with you. But you asked what your favorite Olympic sport is. I'll tell you right now, mine is not women's softball, bro. So the Olympics started. What's up with this anyways? Don't they actually use the words, let the games begin, right? Isn't that what the point of an opening ceremony is? So I always hate that. So, the opening ceremony is later in the week. Some of these teams are going to be eliminated. I think the Italian women's softball team are going to be bounced by the time they walk into the stadium later in the week. But I laid 9.5 runs with Team USA. They win 2-0. Lesson learned. 0-1 out of the gate, and it's proof that the odds makers are kind of in this. We're all in this together, right? Come on, let's be real. They're setting numbers for NFL games. These guys can set numbers blindly, drunk in their sleep, blindfolded for college football future. They don't know about Italy and USA women's softball. I think the Europeans know about cycling. They know about fencing, track and field. They actually follow this stuff year round. But when you get into some of these American sports in an international landscape, the odds makers are lost. Look at the USA laying massive points against Nigeria, against Australia. The USA woman lost to Australia. Now we see the USA women's softball team lay 9.5 runs to Italy and only win 2-0. Something to keep your eye on moving forward. The dogs might be barking in the Olympic Games.
Well, hopefully that's not everything right out of the gate. So to counterbalance you who knows about this, I had to bring on someone else who thinks that they know about this and is just a huge Olympics fan that is out there, but actually doesn't know anything from what I've heard.
Maybe I think he does. I think he knows about the Olympics. He doesn't know anything about football because he's a Jets fan.
This is true. So let's bring him on. Welcome to the show, Tim Andercust.
Tim Andercust.
That's not my name, but I love the Olympics, particularly the Summer Olympics, and I'm very excited to have them back in my life.
Why do you like the Summer Olympics so much versus the Winter Olympics? At least where you're from, like the country you're from is good at the Winter Olympics, unlike the Summer Olympics.
There's a lot more sports in the Summer Olympics, so the action is more jam-packed. There's a lot more medals being given out. And what I love about the Summer Games is that outside of a couple of sports like sailing or equestrian, they're the sorts of sports that the average person can do or can try or may have tried in high school, whether it be throwing a discus or running or swimming or jumping. There's just something like universal about these things. So you get to see just how amazing these people are because you yourself have tried your hand at this event or that event, and you can't believe how good somebody is. It's appointment television in a world where very little appointment television exists.
I'm gonna have to disagree, Tim, and good to catch up with you. I love your passion for the Olympics, and I share it. But I think the Winter Games are better than the Summer Games. Like, they're less. I think the casual fan will stop and watch Eddie the Eagle flying off a mountain, right? I think I get it. It's more historic and very basic, marathon, 100 meters. And it's great. Who's the fastest? Weightlifting. Who's the strongest? I like the simplicity. I love them both. But from an excitement factor, come on, man. You got downhill skiing, ski jumping, ultra hot figure skaters, speed skating, all that new stuff on the half pipe and all that, the snowboarding. For me, I think the Winter Games are more exciting and the Summer Games are more, like, put it this way, the Winter Games are sort of X Games-ish. Hey, let's party. You know what I mean? It's like on the edge. All these sports are kind of dangerous and stuff. Summer is like your uncle's Olympics, more traditional. But I'm going to go with the winter, but I love them both.
See, I think out of all of the events, the problem with the summer is that if I tune into the Olympics, I might catch one of these, like the 130th ranked of the 140 sports that are in. I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't want to watch archery. I'm sorry. And it's just like, I'm going to turn the channel. If people are looking for golf.
I bet on archery
do you have
last Olympics, and it sucked, bro. I didn't even know what I was watching. Like, I was like, they're pretty good. And I lose. I'm like, what do you mean I lost? She just hit the middle. No, you got to take the last three scores of two scores of the last two meets. I'm like, I'm never betting on this again.
So I really like Chinese Taipei to win the women's archery this year, if it means
nice.
Why?
You're gonna lock. You're slamming it down.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really lay down markers, but it is the Olympics, so I'm going to lay down some markers. And women's archery, the Chinese Taipei team to win is one of my markers for the Olympics. I just think that they're the better team.
What? I mean, how do you make that distinction, for one thing? And two, what are they like minus 20,000 or something like that?
No, they're plus 250. They're the second favorites.
Who's the favorite?
The favorite right now is South Korea at minus 180.
Interesting.
But I think the Chinese Taipei team, this is one of their best chances at a gold to show up on the world stage in a really big moment for Chinese Taipei. I want them to win, and I think they're going to win.
So fade Chinese Taipei in women's archery. Okay. I mean, I got that one written down. Feinberg and I are going to be going through the Olympic golf early next week for that tournament. So we're not going to talk about that here. Gabe, do you have anything like straight up out of the gate, like a bet that you like?
Yeah, you know what? I can't wait for the Olympic golf. I'm fired up for the Olympic golf. And listen, I had Morikawa last week, so I got golf going now, man. 35-1, baby. And I think Morikawa's live. I can't wait for this golf. Hideki Matsuyama, the pressure on the South Koreans, the intensity. John Rahm, the U.S. team's amazing. Can Xander Schauffele maybe win a gold medal? Hasn't won a major. So you said, wait for next week. I'm sure you guys will do a great job, but I'm fired up for the golf. Great pick, though. I like where you're going with the archery. Me and Tim were talking a little bit online last week on Twitter about the men's 100 meters. So I'll throw a couple of picks at you guys, and we'll see if Tim agrees or disagrees. But this is hard to believe that the USA haven't won the 100 meters, the glamour event, since 2004.
Yep.
And Justin Gatlin. So it's been a little while. This is the year right now. Trayvon Bromell, you're getting him at plus money. He's by far the fastest man in the world right now. He just ran a 9.77. He was only 21 years old in the last game, so he's matured right now. He's just head and shoulders above everybody else. And, I know about Andre DeGrasse, we'll get to him, but I really like Bromell to win the 100 meters. But as far as the 200 meters, Noah Lyles is the favorite, guys. And Tim, I don't know, I'm curious your take on this, but we've seen the Olympics are tough. I get it on the PGA. We see in sports now, a lot of these young kids, they've got ice in their veins and they don't know any better. They're fearless. But it's tough when you're the favorite in your first Olympic Games. Andre DeGrasse is a veteran. All
Yeah,
right?
I have
Killing it on
DeGrasse
the pro
circled
circuit.
here.
What's that, Tim?
I have DeGrasse circled here for the 200. I think he knows he's
Yeah.
got no shot at the 100 meter.
Exactly.
He's been focusing his energy on the 200 meter because he can win that. So I actually do have him penciled in as the gold medal winner, and you're getting plus 350 on your money if you take him.
Well, I have a
Oh, you
question.
didn't
Hold on. I have a question on Neil deGrasse Tyson here. So if he actually wins something, does that mean he gets to be in more commercials now? Because for a guy who never won gold, he's everywhere in Canada.
Yeah, but winning silver to Usain Bolt is as close as a gold medal as he could have won.
I mean, why don't you win a gold? How about that? Why just?
No, I agree with Pat.
Like-
Like it's such a Canadian thing. How about you damn win, right? Like let's not. You're right, Pat. Let's not celebrate someone getting close. Oh, good for you. I'm saying you gave like. And listen, DeGrasse is good, but let's be real. He's been an underachiever a bit. The 200 meters is very, very winnable for him. Like I said, he's been killing it on the pro circuit right now. He just won. They put up a great number in Hungary. He put up a great number in Oslo. Lyles had a great Olympic trials. He kind of stumbled in the 100 meters, but he killed it in the 200. Yet he's a great kid, this Lyles kid. But he's young. He's on Twitter. He's very active social media. He talks about anxiety and medication. And there's a lot of pressure on this kid as the favorite, as a young kid like this. I think DeGrasse can get him.
Well,
I think DeGrasse is the veteran right now. I think you're right, Tim. He has his eye on the 200 meters, and you see his times have been getting better on the diamond circuit in Europe right now. And like you said, he's a nice plus play here. DeGrasse is a nice value pick, guys. Men's 200 meters.
are there fans at the Olympics in Japan, or are they like having the stadiums be empty?
I think just the reporters.
Just what?
Reporters, I believe.
So, I mean, I think, what do you think? Because we've heard about that in golf. I mean, that's really the only like corollary that I can have to this. But wouldn't you think that would scale back? Like if someone is feeling pressure, a lot of that might have to do with 100,000 people being in a stadium at the Olympics. And now you're just running in like an empty gym.
Look at someone like Josh Allen, who's not that great of a QB, got to be successful this year because there weren't any fans in the stands. And when the fans return, the pumpkin turns the carriage turns into a pumpkin. I do think that is a very strong case.
Did you just say Josh Allen's not a very good QB?
Not as good as he was last year. He's more like his 2019 self, not 2020 self.
You think not? You think that had his progression had something to do with the lack of fans?
I think it helped big time not having those fans screaming.
Well, this year. We'll worry about your guy Zach Wilson with fans in New York who will be booing him in a couple of months. But no, you know what though, and Pat, I think it's a legitimate point and question that you raised. Yet every athlete is different, right? And we've heard a lot of coaches talk about that, and the same thing in the NFL. Kirk Cousins was pretty open about it. He said, "I prefer it without fans." Kirk Cousins liked it without fans. Quarterbacks liked it without fans because they could adjust a hell of a lot easier at the line. That's why some quarterbacks liked it a lot. They could hear the defensive adjustments way, way more than they normally did. But, in the NBA, coaches and players have talked about it, that some guys are no good without fans. Some guys feed off it. It's almost like loving trolls, Pat. You know what I'm saying? It's like a wrestling heel. If you're a wrestling heel and there's no one in the audience, you kind of lose your thing. Some guys love silencing the fans and they feed off the energy, and it's actually a negative. Some people feel anxiety and get nervous when there's that many fans. So, and my own opinion, Tim, too, is I don't care, and Pat, I don't care if there's fans or not. When you've trained for something your entire freaking life, and it comes down to you not screwing up in the next 9.77 seconds, there's pressure on you, whether there's one person or a million people in the stands. And they're also aware that there's billions of people watching on TV. So I think there's pressure on themselves, fans or no fans.
Tim, you laid down your preseason markers, as you like to call them, and they've all been wrong so far. But one of them was that China, or Gina, as it used to be called as of like last year, would win the most gold medals at this Olympics. They are 6-1 to win the most gold medals at the Olympics. The USA is minus 1,200 to win the most gold medals. And then Japan's 25-1, Great Britain's 25-1, the Russian OC is 25 to 1. Germany's 200 to 1. Canada 500 to 1. If they win like a gold medal, that's going to be stunning. And then you have China at 6 to 1. Are you still in on China at 6 to 1?
I just think for an Asian Summer Olympics, where a lot of the Americans are a little overrated in some of these events, that there presents really nice value on China at 6 to 1. If you look at the swimming events, there's a lot of people who think the U.S. are going to win a ton of swimming events, and I actually don't. I think in a lot of the tight ones, I prefer, for example, in the 200-meter medley, like I prefer the Japanese swimmer, Daisetto, over Michael Andrew, for example. Like there's all kinds of places where you think you're going to see Americans win, where I'm not so sure. I think it'll actually be a down Olympics for the United States, not a down Olympics overall. They'll still do fantastically. But I don't expect this to be the Olympics of the past for the United States.
This sounds like
there's a difference.
This sounds great for the U.S. Gabe, he just reverse cursed the United States, who didn't need any help to begin with.
Oh, exactly. And they're going to slay it now, right? But I don't think you're crazy at 6 to 1, Tim, as far as the value is concerned. Because I was going to say, look, China's gold medal count is 36.5, right? That's the consensus number. The USA's consensus number, 42.5, 43.5. I guess let's call it 43.5. So really, there's a difference of seven gold medals there. And, and there's a lot of medals up for grabs. Yeah. There is something that I will think, and I do believe this. I do think that the Asian athletes have a little bit of an advantage.
Agreed.
I think the South Koreans, Japanese, and Chinese. And I also think it means a little bit more to them, right? Like it's such an internal rivalry. Forget about Auburn and Alabama. South Korea and Japan hate each other. Right. And they hate each other. You got China that's trying to take over everything, and they'd like nothing better than to go into Japan and just dominate and try to beat the USA as well. So from a value standpoint, Tim, I don't think it's crazy. I think the USA will still win more medals. As far as Canada, Pat, obviously Canada's better in the Winter Games, but I think they can go over 4.5 gold medals. Not by a lot, but I think they can get to 5, maybe 6.
I would take the strong under on Canada. Tim, what was it that you told me the other day that even when they win,
what do you like, Tim?
When they win gold medals, your grandma doesn't even think they're real sports?
Well, yeah, in 2012, we won 1 gold. It was in trampoline, and my grandmother called me just to tell me that wasn't a real sport and that does not count as a gold medal.
Look, Carter, she's right and wrong, right? I mean, the fact that I know, listen, I'm not calling anyone out, but I think they got wall climbing now too.
Oh, they do. Speed climbing. There's 3 separate wall climbing.
Hey, listen, Pat. If you're gonna do this, at least risk your life on a real rock. You know what I'm saying?
So you want to see
really, you want Olympics? They used to fight to the death. You want Summer Games? I don't want these guys to die, but whatever, dude. What are you, a kid at the Y climbing the wall? I don't care who climbs the wall fastest. But that's exactly, you nailed it, Pat. That's what Canada's going to win in, bro. Individual medley mix kayak. You know what I mean? And wall walking and whatever. I think the Canadian can win gold in speed walking. The decathlon, Damien Walker's a badass. And the decathlon that's the real deal. And he's going to win the gold medal. But Tim's grandmother's right. Canada's really good at all the sports that no one's ever heard of that were just created.
Well, it seemed like they did that in the Winter Olympics too, when they added all of those X Games sports that only Americans and Canadians actually participated in. So it's
killed it. A bunch of hot chicks from Quebec, lighting it up. Yeah,
I say get rid of snowboarding, get rid of keep downhill, keep the ski jump, and keep moguls. That's all. Moguls are my single favorite thing of both Olympics. And apparently the only people in the world that are any good at moguls are people from Quebec.
I don't want to, I'm sure Tim is aware, but if you look at the Canadian, if it wasn't for Quebec, Canada would never win any medals, Pat.
That's true. All right. So Tim, what are the new ones that we talked about the other day? Like surfing's in the Olympics now?
Surfing, sports climbing, baseball is back after having been out. I have trouble getting excited for any skateboarding. I have trouble getting excited for any of these events. I have to be honest. I'll watch.
They're trying to X Games it up, right?
But I don't want that. I don't want the X Games are great, but let them be the X Games.
You don't like. You hold on. You don't think that the X Games are great. You hate the X Games.
No, but they are what they are, and I don't think that you need to take from the X Games to put in the Olympics. Like, different things are different. The X Games belong in their world, and I'm a little bit like you said, your uncle's Olympics. That's what I like. I like who's the fastest, who's the strongest, who can swim the fastest.
Tim, stop. Your favorite sport in the Olympics is fucking dressage.
It's my second favorite, but yes, I do like the dancing horses. And I think the Germans are free money. I would lay down that marker. They're free money to win the dressage.
Well, what's the difference between dressage and equestrian? Is equestrian the horse jumping?
Well, equestrian is all of the horse events. Then you have eventing, and you have you have jumping, and you've got dressage. You've got different events all under the heading of equestrian. It's sort of like how track and field is the heading for dressage and jumping and for its stuff.
Germany is minus 650 to win the dressage. Great Britain is 8-1. Is like Meghan Markle doing it for Great Britain? Like, do they have a queen who's on the horse?
No, I don't believe so.
I'm coming with some value picks here. Tim's dropping minus 650s, Pat. What's going on here?
I don't know.
I like a couple dogs.
Hold on. There's one I want to talk about first because it's minus 320, and it was one I was actually looking at. And Gabe, I want to get your take on this. Men's basketball, the U.S. is only minus 320. I know they lost these like preseason games. They lost Bradley Beal. Who knows what's going on with their team? But even if they had to play like 7 guys, I feel like because they lost those exhibition games that they're not the minus 700 they probably should be.
No, you're exactly right, actually. And, you can never say, there's value laying anything over minus 300. But to put it in context, Pat, they were minus 1,200 before they lost those games in Vegas. And we should know, exhibition games in Vegas. And, by the way, Devin Booker, and how about that? They're taking the same plane together. So Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday will be joining the U.S. team, which will put them over the top. Now, listen. France are getting 11.5, 12.5 points in the first game against the USA, and France are good. France are dangerous. I think France's starting 5 can play with anybody. They got Rudy Gobert. They got Nicolas Batum. Evan Fournier is the point guard. So they can compete, but you just talked about the debt pattern. It is pretty crazy. This is as low as you're ever going to get a U.S. Olympic team, men's basketball team. Like this is as low as you're going to get. But I'd be careful about them blowing people out. Like I said, they haven't played together, so they don't really have good chemistry. The U.S. team, they have the talent, and they're just going to be deeper than everybody else. I think they can win. It won't be easy, but you can't argue that it's not good value. Look, they were minus 1,200 before they lost 2 exhibition games, so it speaks for itself.
So, Tim, what are some of the dog plays that you have for the Olympics this time around?
Sure. So I like Long Chen, who is plus 900 to win the men's badminton from China. Why are you laughing? How
the fuck do you know anything about this? Did you Google someone else's picks and that's what you're taking?
No.
Or do you pick this?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't touch the boxing, as Gabe would tell you. Olympic boxing is shady at best. So I
just take everyone from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, just don't get involved in that. There's just no need. Let's see. What else did I really like? I mentioned dressage, but that was a big over.
You just like saying that word, dressage, huh?
No, for women's swimming, people aren't going to want to hear this who are Canadian, but I really like Penny Olesiak. What is she currently right now? Trying to see. What is she currently? She's currently plus 500 to win the women's freestyle. I think there's real value on that.
Okay.
She's a marvelous swimmer.
I mean, you last saw her 4 years ago at the Olympics.
5 years.
5 years ago at the Olympics. So she's 20 now or 21 now?
Yeah, 21 now. There's a 14-year-old on Team Canada now, actually. It's pretty crazy. I tweeted the picture. She was 9 years old at like the last meet, and she was like a little girl. She took a picture and she said, I want to be like you. No one thought she'd be like her, like Penny, 5 years later. I think it's interesting. I think Kylie Moss is dangerous as far as Canadian swimmers are concerned, but they're going to be in tough. I think they're going to be in pretty tough. But I can never argue with value like that, Tim.
No, right. Exactly.
Well, Gabe, who are your like dog plays here? Like, or anything just stands out to you as value?
I'll bang off and listen. I'm not playing around. I wanted to put $500 on every pick. All right. literally and figuratively. And then I realized I can't do it because I'm a degenerate and I'm going to bet too much. So I've scaled it down a little bit, but I still have too much money on this stuff. But these are so I'm not just, these aren't opinions. This is what I'm actually putting real money on. So I got Trayvon Bromell to win 100 meters. He's at plus money. We talked about Andre DeGrasse. Nice plus price for him to win the men's 200 meters. Women's 100 meters. I don't want to use the term stone cold lock, but Shelly Ann Fraser-Price from Jamaica. Guys, she just ran the fastest time in the last 30 years. All right, for the women's 100, a 10.63 in Kingston on June 5th. She won gold in 2008. She won gold in 2012. She finished third in 2016. And you would figure that she's kind of done now because she's older. She's 34 years old, but she's changed her technique. She's actually running faster times than she's ever run before. She's on a mission to get the trifecta and join Bolt as a Jamaican with the 3 gold medals. He thinks she's going to get it. Everybody, I don't think it's a very similar situation what we talked about with the men. The 100 and 200 is different. I don't think she's going to win the 200. I think she's a lock. And it's not plus money, but it's it's pretty much even money for Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Jamaica, to win the women's 100 meters. The 200, here's a plus money, Pat. Gabby Thomas. All right. And I don't really understand the number here. This girl's fast, man. In fact, she's the fastest woman in the 200 meters since Florence Griffith Joyner in 1988. All right, so Shelly Ann Fraser is on a mission to win 3 gold medals in the 100 meters. She's focused on that, and she's 34 years old. She's not winning the 100 and then winning the 200. I think Gabby Thomas at plus money is a really, really nice play here. Here's one for you, Tim. Nice traditional sport, men's discus.
Oh, nice.
Love Daniel Stahl. He is the favorite, but you don't have to lay too much juice. He's the current world champion. Dude, in the last meet, he was throwing a discus like 71 meters, everybody else like 65. And the biggest legitimate threat to him was this Iranian, Ashan Haddadi. All right, so speaking of going online, Pat, I was actually on the Tehran Times the other day reading about the discus. So Haddadi was the silver medalist in the last games, but he had to withdraw due to a shoulder issue. Really, he was the legitimate threat to Daniel Stahl from Sweden to win the gold medal, men's discus. So I love that play. Men's baseball, a little baseball action here. Japan, second best league in the world. They shut down their league for this. We know the importance. We talked about the Asian, how important it is to the Asian countries, these games. Baseball, very, very popular sport. Japan's not losing. South Korea is kind of the only. I don't think the U.S. is a legitimate threat.
I love
South
it.
Korea is pretty good, but Japan at plus money, love it. Women's field hockey, Netherlands, got to lay a little bit of a price, but they're dominant. I think they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning if they played against them on grass. Women's field hockey, Netherlands are going to get it done, and women's volleyball, guys. This is an interesting one. This is crazy. The USA has never won a gold medal in women's volleyball before. A lot of people think this is the year. Now, if you look at the odds, you could take both China and the USA and make money. Now, I don't like hedging, and Pat knows that. I hate hedging, but this isn't really a hedge. You're getting 2 teams at plus money that are on a collision course. And you can decide, all right, I want to put a little bit more on the US or I want to put a little bit more on China. But China and the USA are on a collision course in women's volleyball.
Based on my theory that the Chinese are going to win the most gold medals, I need this one.
Yeah, that's one of the keys. You're right, because that's a head-to-head one. You're right.
I need this one.
Yeah, because you're right. They're going to be going head-to-head. And good call by you. But you mentioned 200. I got him winning the 400. Daiya Sato from Japan. This guy's a great swimmer, but he's been marred in controversy over the last year. He had an extramarital affair, all right? And I guess in Japan, it's a problem. So he cheated on his wife. He lost all his sponsors. He got kicked out of the swim league. Great team name. I talked about this yesterday on the shows. Tokyo Frog Kings, Pat. That's the name of the professional swim team over there. So he got kicked off the Frog Kings. And, they're into you shamed everybody type of thing. And he's on the redemption tour right now. Right? And he basically stated, I let a lot of people down, but I'm going to bring great honor and glory back by winning. He's very confident and his times are great. You got to lay a little bit of juice here, but I don't see any reason why Daichi Saito doesn't win the men's individual 400-meter medley.
Okay, so hold on. Gabe, before I let you go, I had Tim come up with a list just for you. So you gotta let him say his list, and then we can discuss it, okay?
Oh boy.
So Tim, give us your rankings of the definitive rankings of the best Olympic sports.
Yeah, so I have a top 10 ranking of but I think of the best 10 just Summer Olympic sports. Number 10 is water polo. It's a mixture of athleticism and swimming. And again, it's just about everybody can swim and throw a ball, so you can understand how hard it is to do.
Great sport.
But it's a big sport. Number 9 is the decathlon. Why? Because it determines who the greatest athlete in the world is every 4 years.
Shouldn't that be number 1 then?
Love the pentathlon, and for the women, the heptathlon determines who the best female athlete in the world is. I love that. Number 8, handball. Handball is so much fun to watch on TV. Anytime an Olympic handball game is on, I dare you to change the dial. It is addictive. Number 7, fencing. It is elegant. It is fast. It is graceful. It's just a fantastic sport to watch. Then there's a gap. Then 6, my favorite is the swimming relays. That's my favorite swimming event, are the relays. There's excitement, there's drama, there's different people involved. They always seem to come right down to the finish. That's my favorite swimming event. Number 5 is the high jump. Again, there's something very graceful about one's ability to use a Fosbury flop and get over that bar. Are you passing? Are you not passing? What height can you make it at? It's high drama. You can't miss it. Number 4, javelin. It's my favorite track event. Is the javelin or field event, to see somebody throw that javelin. Again, it goes back to ancient times. Then there's a gap.
Hold on, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. Gabe, did you know that Tim once told us that he thought he could throw a javelin 100 meters?
I no longer believe that.
I'm willing to bet that he can't.
That's so.
I love how Tim's all of his favorite sports, Pat, are the most fucking boring ones in the game.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, wait, let's hear the 3 most watchable sports according to you, Tim.
Number 3, my favorite is the marathon. It's on the last day of the event. It goes back to ancient Greece. It ties the history of the Olympics back to its founding. 2 is the dressage.
Nobody watches the marathon.
Love it. Number 2 is dressage. I love the dancing horses. Very impressive what those horses do. And number 1, my favorite is the weightlifting, particularly the 109 kg plus weightlifting. It is so crazy impressive to see those guys and girls lift those unbelievable amounts of weights. It is captivating television.
And boxing. No boxing?
Olympic boxing is not as good as non-Olympic boxing.
How do you not? There are 3 sports to watch the Olympics. Yeah, you have to watch the 100-meter dash is number 1. It's the Super Bowl of the Olympics.
Super Bowl of the Olympics. That's the one. That's like the celebrity row night. Yes, that's the one.
No, not me. That's not for me. And I think the BMX bike racing.
And Tim, I respect your, I really do. And I love your passion for the games. And like you said, the gracefulness of some of these sports. But how can you justify all these other things and not have respect for who the fastest man in the world is?
Well, I do. It's not that I don't like it. It's just these are my 10 favorite. I think the best athlete in the world in the pentathlon, the decathlon is a more impressive thing.
But as well, nobody, and I hear what you're saying, it's supposed to be that way. But you know what, Pat, the decathlon is? It's the dudes that are kind of 4th and 5th best at everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like one of those deals. Listen, you're pretty good at the 100 meters, but you're never going to you can't beat these guys. But you're also pretty good at the 200. You're pretty good at jumping, but you're not going to you know what I mean? They're not great at everything and it comes together. And I'm not disrespecting them. They're great athletes, but nobody even can name, does anyone that wins a decathlon after get to walk around as the best athlete in the world? Nobody even knows who they are.
Yeah, the only one I can remember is the former Bruce Jenner, is the only decathlete I've ever heard of. And Xander Schauffele's dad.
Now, there was a dude from Canada that used to choke all the time too, Pat.
Well, Tim, Tim, what about your favorite triathlon? You love that one too, don't you?
I love the triathlon, but I can't have the triathlon and the marathon in the same event. But I mean, when the triathlon's on, I will watch it. You don't think people know about Ashton Eaton? I think people remember that name.
I've never heard that.
He won the last 2 pentathlons. going back, like Daley Thompson. Do people not remember him? Like, I think there are some decathletes people remember. Jim Thorpe, for heaven's sake. The greatest athlete perhaps to ever live, Jim Thorpe.
Tim, that was almost 100 years ago.
What about diving? Like on the high one. That's awesome. I will say about handball. I do agree with handball. Handball, I brought this up earlier too, Pat, earlier in the week. There is no sport in the world whose numbers are sharper than handball. It's a barbed wire fence. I swear to God. Like in-game handball, if the total's 61.5, you better believe, bro, the game's going to land on 61 or 62. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Keep your eye up on that. Be very careful. The numbers are as sharp as a rusty nail in handball.
Well, you have a lot of experience betting table tennis, and apparently table tennis is like one of the most bet on sports in Colorado for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Don't know what's going on.
Like betting on that stuff there?
I guess so. Like when I looked at
it
had bigger handle in Colorado than the PGA did.
What?
Yeah.
They hate golf in Colorado.
No, but it's not that, like, it's the same, like PGA in Colorado is the same as all of the other legal states in terms of taking percentage of handle. It's just table tennis is like second.
I've been baffled by this, actually. I don't listen. Olympic table tennis, international table tennis, fine. But it's amazing to me that the sports books in America are taking action on two Russian dudes playing ping pong in some beer hall in Moscow. Right? I swear to God, man, you look at these ping pong matches, and like not the Olympic stuff, but some of this stuff, and I'm amazed they have numbers for it. It's like, guys, like, you don't think it's a coincidence that one of the guys just won the first set 11-0, and then he got killed after? You know, if there's a bait and switch going on here, like even me, and I'm for like, no, I'm not one of these everything's fixed guys, but I don't bet on Russian ping pong. Olympic ping pong, I don't have a problem with.
All right, I think that will do it. Tim, do you have any final Olympics thoughts?
Other than just how excited I am for the event, I said I think it'll be an up Olympics for Japan, China, and Canada, and a down Olympics for the United States.
So those countries are cursed. The U.S. is anti-curse. So good reverse curse. Great news for all the American viewers out there. And do you want to share with people?
USA's going to have like 50 goals now, Pat. Their over-under is 43.5. They're going to shatter it.
They're going to break the all-time Olympics record. More so than when the Soviets boycotted in L.A. It's going to be even greater than that.
Like Krusty the Clown. They killed Krusty the Clown.
Oh, God.
In Los Angeles that time, the Canadians killed it.
Oh, yeah, of course. There was no Eastern Bloc countries. It was Canada, the U.S., and a bunch of countries that couldn't swim. Anyway, can you tell people how devastated you are that they don't have the intro to the, what's it called? The opening ceremonies? What do they call that thing?
Yeah, the opening ceremonies.
Yeah, but like having the athletes walk out, you were disappointed that they're not doing that.
They are doing that, as I understand.
I thought you said they did, but they didn't have the horses.
Oh, no. I long believe that the horses are just as much a part of the event as the riders, and the horses should be allowed to walk in the Parade of Nations and get medals, too. I do believe that.
But before I get out of here, I want Tim, what do you think of the jean jacket, Tim? Team Canada's jean jacket.
Initially, I despised it, and now I've come around to not hating it. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't wear it, but I no longer hate it the way I did. I actually think it's different, and I don't mind it.
I can't get behind it. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, well, initially I thought, oh man, I don't care for this. But then the more I watched it, the more I've seen it at the Bay or whatever, I thought, you know what? I don't mind. There it is.
Oh God.
There we go, baby.
I don't mind it. I mean, I wouldn't wear it, but I don't have an antipathy towards it anymore.
This looks like a jacket, like a knockoff jacket from a Kool Moe Dee album cover in 1988.
Well, it's from HBC, so you can be sure that it's a good quality product.
It's a fine product. Levi's, made by Levi's and Hudson's Bay Company. Great graffiti here. Graffiti to signify the great tradition of graffiti in Tokyo. Proud to wear the jacket, Pat. It's a fine-looking jacket.
Why is there
better than that Ralph Lauren crap that the USA team is wearing?
Did I see that there's a German flag on that?
No, is that the HBC logo?
Oh, is it?
No, there's no German flag. There's Canadian patches.
No, on the other side. On the other side.
No, there's it's the Bay.
Oh, okay.
That's the Bay logo, yeah.
I didn't see the green there. I just saw the other colors. But I guess it would be
Yeah,
upside down,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
The
Anyway.
only part it's the only logo I wasn't overly excited about, Pat. I was like, hey, you have to get your logo on there.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember when everyone had those Roots hats that one year?
I
I
did.
don't like root stuff. That's why I didn't mind this. No, I'm not down with the root stuff.
All right. Morency, tell everyone, in case somehow they don't know, where they can watch you for 7 hours a day every day.
Just follow me on Twitter at Sports Rage. Follow me on Twitter at the Sports Rage. And of course, we're kicking it Sirius XM channel 204 weeknights at 6 o'clock. And then the late night anger management class, which we got to get you guys on at midnight Eastern time, man. So follow me on Twitter. You catch me on the grid, on Sports Grid. But follow me on Twitter at Sports Rage. Post all my links to everything.
Gabe, midnight Eastern time is 1 o'clock my time, and I have 2 kids under 2 now. This isn't going to be good for me.
One of these nights when they're gone and you're on a bender, we'll get you on when you're on after a couple of drinks.
All right, you know what? I will agree to do that. I would also like to thank for being on the show and cursing certain countries and not other countries. Tim Andercust.
Tim Andercust.
That's not my name.
No, I heard that was your name. Terrible list, by the way. That's one of your worst lists. You left off all the good sports.
Now, those are the sports that I like.
If you like them so much, why don't you? Okay, hold on. If you like these sports so much, why don't you watch them more than once every 4 years?
Well, they're not on TV where I'm
You
watching.
can find them. Gabe was just on some Iranian newspaper. You can find stuff.
But you know what? The fact that they're only around every 4 years is also charming to me, and that adds to the mystique.
These are terrible sports, and you're making this up. You're just being a liar.
No, these are what I like. I didn't make a list for you. I made a list for me.
But I'm saying, if you like it so much, you would actively search out these sports.
No, I like this. This is what the Olympics is to me, is seeing these neat, quirky sports that are weird to me because I don't see them very often. I follow enough stuff. I don't need to add extra sports in my life.
I mean, you could be, you love handball so much, you can't turn the channel. Is it like an addiction for you? Like you're addicted to Diet Coke, and cigarettes. Would you also be addicted to handball? Like it would come on TV and you would get comatose and not be able to leave?
If there was a major professional handball league in North America, I think it would do well.
All right.
Denmark's going to roll.
Denmark's going to roll in the handball? Okay. Yeah. All right. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Smash the like. Tell me your favorite sport in the comment section. Sub to Mayo Media. Get in on that cash giveaway. Review fantasy football picks and bets. I put the link down in the description. It'll take you legit 31 seconds to subscribe, rate 5 stars, leave a decent review. Something nice. Leave something nice, okay? And then Twitter handle and or email address. And boom, we're going to be giving away the winners in August. And check out the brand new fantasy football picks and bets show. I had Feinberg on today talking about the Chargers. How could you miss that? Anyway, I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience.
Although I'm not going to lie, a little rattle. We'll talk about it, about how the odds makers, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, how the hell are they going to know how to set international women's softball lines? They don't know. No, I'll talk about it. Like, guys, last night, like the USA, they were minus 9.5 fucking runs against Italy. They won 2-0. Fuck, it was nothing in the fucking 5th inning. Italy were plus 9.5 runs.
Let's talk about this then. Bring this up. This is perfect. This is what people need to know about this.
Yeah.
Experience.